Hey everybody, it's time to make another top thing, but I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of doing a top 10 or top 5, I'm doing top 15. A top 15 of my favorite Gamecube games. Now, the Gamecube is definitely, I think, one of the best system ever, and personally it has the biggest library of games that I own. And so there was just too many great games for me to choose from, so I just did 15 to make it a little bit more easier on myself. So I just want to clarify this now. This is my opinion. Please feel free to leave any games that you may have liked, or any games that like your top 10, top 15, top 5, whatever you want. It's fine. But any fanboy comments or crap like that, not dealing with it, you'll be blocked and comment removed immediately. So without any further ado, let's get this started. Okay, now to start off the list at number 15 is going to be Spider-Man 2, the video game. Now, this game was the very first game I ever played with open world exploration. Can't say that word right. But anyway, this game was just so fun to play because you had New York City as your playground the entire time. Now, it was annoying sometimes to swing from the one end of the city to the other, but I'd take this game over any other Spider-Man game today. Now, I know there are some classic Spider-Man games, but I've just not yet to play them yet. Spider-Man 1 was crap, Spider-Man 3 was mad, yet this game was just overall really fun. If I could give this game a rating, it'd have to be a 7, because the game gets repetitive after a while, but still really fun to play, and the bosses they were all pretty easy, really, in my opinion. And just
a shock to you.
Having all the classic ones like Black Cat, Shocker, Rhino, and Mysterio, with Mysterio being the most pathetic boss ever in a video game. Just whatever. Spider-Man 2, overall a really fun game for anyone who likes the old web slinger, and I'd recommend it any day. So Spider-Man 2 puts in at number 15. Okay, coming in at number 14 is going to be Lego Star Wars, the video game. Now, I'm a big fan of the Star Wars trilogy, more or less the original. But this game was actually pretty good. I was skeptical about this at first. I played it on the Xbox, and then I bought it on the Gamecube. And I'm kind of glad I did, because, I mean, just being able to play through episodes 1 through 3 was freaking awesome. And the multiplayer in it was pretty fun. Me and my brother played this all the time. And just kind of has a little bit of comedy in it, but not that much. But it still has a Star Wars feel to it, so if you're a big fan of Star Wars, I'd recommend this. Or if you just like the Lego games, like me, a little bit, then yeah, pick it up. It's definitely worth the buy, and yeah. So pick it up if you haven't yet, if you want to. Number 14, Lego Star Wars, the video game. Okay, coming on at number 13 in the list is going to be
Beautiful Joe.
Okay, if it wasn't for Beautiful Joe, I would have never gotten into more beat-em-ups than I am today. Beautiful Joe was just an amazing beat-em-up slash platformer, and I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to see a hilarious game, very fun game mechanics, and the story though was kind of crap though, but overall fun of the game was other than any other beat 'em up I've ever played. And I'll say this now, this is probably my favorite beat 'em up of all time. I'd recommend it for anybody who has a GameCube. So if you've not picked up Beautiful Joe yet, I'd highly recommend it. Boss fights were really fun to play, and just overall a very fun game, guys. So number 13, Beautiful Joe. Okay, coming in at number 12 is going to be Super Mario Strikers. Now, this is possibly my favorite Mario sports game, or favorite sports game to ever come out, because people know this on my channel by now. I'm a big fan of soccer, Brazil being my favorite team, and with Mario added to the mix, this game was a must-buy as soon as I heard about it. And I'm so glad I purchased it, because I've spent more hours on this game than I have on tennis. And Mario Tennis is possibly my second favorite Mario sports game, but for now, I'll stick with Mario Strikers. And with Mario's wackiness added into this game, and no holds barred, being able to tackle your opponents and just send them into the electric fence was all worth it. And with Mario Sports Mix around the horizon of next year, I can't wait to see what they gotta do. But Mario Strikers, number 12, for being my favorite Mario sports game, and I love soccer so much. So, let's move on. Okay, coming in at number 11 is going to be Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Not only is this my favorite Tony Hawk game, it's also my favorite skateboarding game. Now, the whole loading screen thing was not really just a big issue for me. Nah, that wasn't it. It was because it was one big, massive area with being able to pretty much skate anywhere you want. And not only that, just have the best graffiti graphics that you can customize with, best customizations to the character, and just overall, really just a fun game. I still think Underground is a better storyline that this game had, but this game had a pretty good storyline too, with a lot of amazing characters that I still love to this day. Will I LP this game? Most likely, but for right now, I don't know for sure. But Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, just a really fun game to play, and overall, it probably has the second best soundtrack out of all the Tony Hawk games. Tony Hawk's Underground 2, I think, has the best soundtrack, but other than that, Tony Hawk, Underground, American Wasteland, number 11. Okay, now we're on to the top 10. Number 10 will be Paper Mario 2. This is probably I think this is the only RPG I own on the Gamecube, surprisingly. And this game, I gotta say, it's hard to choose which one's better, Paper Mario 1 or this game. They're both incredible good games, and I don't know, I really just cannot decide. This game's a little bit more easier than Paper Mario, although the final boss difficulty spikes up near the end. And being able to play as Bowser too, that was a nice addition as well. I really do love the Paper Mario series, and chapters were really fun. I'm not gonna LP this game, sadly, though, so, you know, buy the game if you haven't. It's really worth the buy, and overall, this is one of my favorite RPGs of all time, and I'd highly recommend it for anybody. So, Paper Mario 2, really fun RPG, has Mario mechanics in it, too, that makes it really fun. So, let's just leave it at that. Paper Mario 2, number 10. Okay, so now we've moved on to number 9 on this list, and number 9 is going to be
Super Mario Sunshine!
Yes, Super Mario Sunshine. Now, some people consider this the black sheep of the Mario series. I can see why, but I'd rather take this game than 64 any day. Mostly because of the fact I've had this game longer than I've owned 64. Now, I will say there are some parts in this game that really did frustrate me, along with some parts that were pretty much stupid, like giving Bowser a voice, which was completely horrible. Bowser Jr. was a very nice addition to the series, but he's pretty much past his prime now. He's not entertaining to me anymore. But other than that, Super Mario Sunshine, really fun Mario game. The bosses were all actually pretty cool to fight. This game is definitely hard, guys, but not as hard as Galaxy 2 is. But I'd still recommend it. But yeah, number 9 has to go for Super Mario Sunshine for being a completely fun Mario game, and just overall, too many memories of it. So, number 9, Mario Sunshine. Okay, now we're on to number 8. Number 8 is The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning.
What is it?
Now,
Exactly.
this Legend of Spyro series, a lot of people have been skeptical. People have been, you know, on either side. You either hate it or you love it. I, for one, love it. Now, this was another beat-em-up game slash platformer like Beautiful Joe, but still amazing game. And the reason it's kind of low for this is because really the big reason is because it gets repetitive more than anything else. In Beautiful Joe, it doesn't get as much as repetitive as this game, but this game is just a little bit more higher because the story is a lot more better. Not to mention the bosses of this game were actually really fun to fight. Despite about every single one of them being really easy, still an amazing game. I'd highly look into the Legend of Spyro series if you guys haven't. And so yeah, number 8 goes to Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning for being just a fantastic Spyro game that I think is underrated. So let's move on.